continue this struggle. One of the things that we can do at this point is to tell Congress that they have the power of the purse and that they can tighten those purse strings and bring this war to an earlier climax. Yesterday's Times, I think it was, Bob Herbert talked about the tragic mistake that's taking place. And I think for those of us and for the many millions across the country who campaigned for Barack Obama in 2008, this is indeed a tragedy, and a tragedy in many ways. First of all, the tragic consequences to the people of Afghanistan and to the people in the armed forces, not only those who will die as a result, but those who will come back to this country with broken lives. Those families are also a part of the tragedy that is unfolding. And then our country, those of us who are involved in the struggles around Vietnam, remember how the Great Society crumbled in the jungles of Vietnam. And that is one of the consequences that is potential for us here today as this $1 million per soldier in Afghanistan. That's $30 billion a year. And I think every one of us knows what that could mean for the city of Detroit, for the state of Michigan, and for people around the country. And so we are going to go to the Congress and ask them to deny the money for this war and to tighten those purse strings and to bring this war to a speedy end. I want to introduce one of the other people who will briefly address us, Abiomi Azikwe from Makawi, who also happens to be the president of the Michigan Coalition for Human Rights.
Thank you, Al. On behalf of the Michigan Emergency Committee Against War and Injustice, we want to thank everyone for coming out on this rainy afternoon, just one day after the official announcement that President Obama will be escalating the war in Central Asia. We think this is a tragedy. We think that the millions of people who went out last year and who voted for President Obama did not vote for more war. They did not vote for more occupation. They voted for peace. They voted for jobs. They voted for health care. They voted for a new domestic and foreign policy in the United States. Unfortunately, we still have the same forces in the Pentagon, on Wall Street, that are setting policy here in this country. We know who benefits from war. It's the same interest who benefits from the theft of our homes, from the theft of our health care and our jobs. It's the people who make the bombs, who make the tanks, who makes the bullets, who supplies the oil services, companies like Halliburton, who profit immensely from the continuation of these permanent wars. Now, they talked about ending the war in Iraq, but we know very well that troops are still being deployed to Iraq every week here in this country. We also know that without even a discussion or a debate, the war in Central Asia has been expanded to Pakistan. Right now we have hundreds of thousands of civilians who are being displaced every day in Pakistan because of the role of the United States military in this region. So we have to organize and we have to mobilize. Despite who is in the White House, despite who is in the Congress, the people have to make their voices heard. And what do we want? We want peace. We want peace, we want jobs, we want health care, and we want housing. This is the demand of the people. And we have to exercise that demand through our organized force. Now, on behalf of Makawi and the Michigan Coalition for Human Rights, we're going to continue to speak out. To speak out. To speak our conscience. We cannot allow this to continue. We know that more of our young men and women are going to die as a result of these actions. We know this very clearly. We know that already nearly 1,000 people have died as a result of the war in Afghanistan. We know that over 4,400 people have died in Iraq. Tens of thousands of more have been injured and wounded. Hundreds of thousands are suffering from closed head injuries, from post-traumatic stress disorder. We know that the suicide rate among the troops is astronomical. And why is this? It's because they're fighting an unjust war. Despite the propaganda that we hear every day on the radio and on television, our troops know that this war is unjust. And as a result of that, they're having all kinds of problems in Afghanistan and Iraq as well as here in the United States. And we see this demonstrated on an everyday basis. And even when our young people come back to the United States, there's nothing that the Veterans Administration and the federal government has to offer them. No jobs, no health care, nothing except more misery. Many of them wind up in even worse conditions than they were before they joined the military. So we have to continue our demonstrations, we have to continue our speak-outs, and we have to put pressure on Senator Levin, who's chair of the Armed Services Committee. We have to let him know that we do not want an escalation in this war in Afghanistan. We want the war in Afghanistan and Iraq and in Pakistan to end. Thank you very much.
We want peace!
We want peace! We want peace! We want peace! We want peace!
Yeah, folks, one announcement that's very important. We'd like to, even though it's raining, we'd like to continue the line for another 20 minutes or so, because Fox News, local Fox News, is going to cover it live. So can we get back on the line, keep on marching?